Hey there, welcome to TechnoBench. In continuation with the last video, today we will delve into more details about cloud computing. Let's begin. We will understand today the different types of deployment models it can be categorized as. Number 1, public cloud. Second, private cloud. Third, hybrid cloud. And fourth, which nowadays it's called as multi-cloud. In public cloud, the resources are offered to you by a third-party service provider. These providers own the entire infrastructure and you share the infrastructure with other users, which makes it cost-effective. This concept is also called as multi-tenancy. I will discuss about this later in this video. Some examples of these providers are AWS, GCP, Oracle, Azure, etc. Next, private cloud. This is like having your own cloud in your garage. This is dedicated to your organization. This can be hosted either in your data center or at a co-location facility. Here, you don't have to share your infra with other users. This belongs to you and only for your organization. This offers better level of security, control, and privacy. It can be expensive to set up in the start, but it can give significant cost benefits in long term. Now, how does a private cloud differ from a public cloud? In a private cloud, the IT hardware is owned and managed by one single entity or organization, and it is segregated from the other IT departments. Whereas in public cloud, the infrastructure is shared among different users. Now let's talk about hybrid cloud, which is combination of public and private cloud. It offers best of both the worlds. Usually, organizations go for this deployment model when they want to deploy certain applications in their private cloud, which offers them better privacy and security and control, whereas they want to deploy certain other applications in public cloud, which offers them scalability and flexibility. So this kind of deployment usually helps the organizations or users to mix and match and decide what works best for their application. Lastly, we have multi-cloud. Now, you might be thinking what exactly is the difference between multi-cloud and hybrid cloud. Let's understand what is multi-cloud. Usually people use multi-cloud and hybrid cloud terms interchangeably, but they are not exactly the same. So in hybrid cloud, there are different cloud environments interconnected together to serve a common purpose or to run a particular application. Whereas in multi-cloud, the user or organization opts for this deployment model because they want to choose the best of different cloud service providers. For example, Azure has certain good features and AWS has certain good features. I can try to run my different applications in both of these environments, and it may not be even interconnected. It may not be sharing data, and this approach would be called a multi-cloud approach. In fact, there could be another private cloud also involved in this. So this is a little bit broader term. In other words, you can also say a multi-cloud is an approach for hybrid cloud, whereas a hybrid cloud cannot be termed as a multi-cloud. Moving on, let's understand the different types of services in cloud computing. There are 3 types of services offered: IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. Traditionally, when it's your own data center, you manage the entire stack end-to-end, starting from the underlying infra to the middleware to your application and data. Whereas in cloud computing services, somebody else does it for you. Let's see the different types. IaaS stands for Infrastructure as a Service. In cloud computing environment, IaaS provides you with underlying infrastructure like server, storage, networking, etc. You only have to manage your data, operating system, application, middleware, and runtime. Your underlying infra is managed and hosted by a third-party provider. Some examples of IaaS are PaaS. PaaS stands for Platform as a Service. This is a step forward, and this just does not provide the underlying infrastructure, but also platform for development and running the application. This is very useful to developer and programmers, where PaaS allows them to manage, develop, and run their application without having the headache of updating the software or hardware maintenance. Some examples of PaaS can be SaaS, also known as Software as a Service. This is the most developed and user-friendly delivery model of cloud computing. Over here, you only have to access the application over the internet, which is already developed by somebody else. In this, you don't have to manage or look after any of the software or the hardware piece. You enjoy the benefit of the online delivery of the software. Now, some examples of SaaS can be. So this was all about the deployment methodologies and the services offered in cloud computing. Now, let's talk a little bit more about some key terminologies that are important in this subject. The first one being multi-tenancy. Different customers of a cloud vendor are sharing the same computing resources. Despite the fact of them sharing the resources, they are not aware about each other and their data is completely isolated in the cloud. Second, vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. In cloud computing, which talks about scalability, this feature is very important. In vertical scaling, you can increase the power of your machine or instance or infrastructure by adding more cores or RAM. Whereas in horizontal scaling, you can add more number of infrastructure, machine or instances to distribute your workload. This is how the websites often manage the sudden traffic spikes. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new today. Please like, share and subscribe and keep watching. Till then, bye-bye.